Today I'd like to talk to you about reserved instances. There seems to be a lot of confusion around what they are and what they aren't, so hopefully we can go through some of those today. Basically, they are a billing optimization. They're little more than that. By helping AWS with their capacity planning, you get a discounted rate. The extra thing that they do give you is guaranteed capacity when you launch an instance. So should AWS be getting close to its limits in a particular availability zone, people with reserved instances will get instances where people without reserved instances won't. But apart from that, it's really just a billing optimization. When you launch an instance, you don't specify whether it's reserved or not. It is just applied at billing time. They come in three different flavors: light, medium, and heavy utilization. Utilization is not how much you're using the CPU or disk, it is time-based, so how many hours per day or per month you're using the instance. So if we go to the AWS web console, you can see that I have one reserved instance here. It's a T1 Micro, and let's go and purchase another one. Here you can specify the platform. I'm going to bring this one up inside the VPC, and let's have a look at what M1 smalls are available. Okay, there seems to be quite a few here, and this is basically just like shopping on Amazon. You pick what you want and you add it to your cart. If we refine our search a little bit more, we can select no more than a 12-month term and limit it just to light utilization, and now the choices are much easier. We just have the three availability zones to choose from. I would pay $61 up front, and then my hourly rate is 3.4 cents per hour. If we take a look at an M1 large, you'll see the upfront price goes up to $243 in this region, and the hourly rate becomes 13.6 cents an hour. Now I tend to use a lot of T1 micros for my demos, so let's have a look at that. Here is one for $23 upfront, which gives me 1.2 cents per hour. Let's add that to the cart. Take a look, confirm everything is correct. Yes, that looks like what I want. One purchase. Great, now I am able to take advantage of reserved instance prices at the end of the month. You can see here that the payment is pending, and that'll be pending for about 30 minutes or less, assuming your credit card is active. So how did we work out what type of utilization I wanted? Well, they have a small chart here for the 3-year reserved prices. Basically what it's saying is if you're using the machine 20 to 40% of the time, you want to go with a light utilization. If you're about in the middle at about 60% utilization, the medium gives you the most savings. And if you're at 80 or 100% utilization, then you want to go to the heavy. Now this chart's fine, but it's not very interactive. Prompt Cloud have created something that I find very useful to use. Here you can select the region, the instance, and then there's sliders to choose the number of days and number of hours. So for an M1 small, you can see the blue line at the bottom there is your on-demand cost. The red is light, medium is orange, and heavy is green. And this is selecting the 1-year reserved period. So let's say that I want to use a machine for 12 hours per day. As the number of days increase, you can see the blue line slowly coming up, and it looks like it's approaching the red line. And as we get to 196 days, the crossover happens. So after 196 days, we are starting to save money. And as the year progresses, we just save more and more money. So the blue line is what we would have been paying, and the red line is what you would be paying by getting reserved instances. So this is what an M1 small looks like. What about an M1 X large? Well, the slope of the lines remains the same, but the savings are substantially different. Here you're saving close to $400. And as we increase the number of hours per day this is running, you can see it's approaching the heavy utilization mark. And from that point on, we are starting to save more money by using reserved instances rather than on demand. So now let's have a look at an M3 X large on 3 years. You can see by switching from 1 year to 3 year, the upfront cost is more, so our green line has just moved up. And it would actually be cheaper over a 12-month period to use the on-demand pricing. But as soon as we get to 14 months, that price shifts. And after 14 months, you would be saving more and more money by using a 3-year reserved instance. Notice how the green line is flat, it's not a slope like the other lines. That's because for heavy utilization reserved instances, you're paying whether the instance is on or not. So if we go back, you can see the numbers for light, medium, and heavy utilization. The upfront cost for a 1 year versus a 3-year term, and then what your hourly rate is for 1 year versus 3 years. So now if we move the number of hours per day down, it's only when you get to 9 hours that on-demand price makes more sense than a heavy, but a medium and light reserved would still be saving you money. Now if you prefer looking at numbers, Mike Christo has taken all of the information and put it into a table for you, so I'll include that in the show notes. Now if we take a look at the reserved instance that I bought, you can see that you can now modify those, so I could move it outside of the VPC or change which availability zone that is running in. I'm not going to do that, but you can also sell instances. So if we go back to the search that we had, you can see a third party is selling one of theirs, so that's a 34-month contract, and the upfront price is a fair bit lower than it would be for the 36 months. So if we were looking for this type of deal, it would make sense to go and buy theirs rather than buy one from Amazon. So even reserved instances don't really have a lock-in. You can sell them, you can modify them, the choice is yours. And reserved instances aren't just limited to EC2, you can also buy them for RDS. You can buy reserved instances for Redshift, and this is how you can get to the $1,000 per terabyte per year for a data warehouse. And if you're using Elasticache, you can buy Memcache or Redis reserved instances as well. And if you happen to be a high roller, there are volume discounts for reserved instances. Well, hopefully you have a better understanding of what reserved instances are now. If you have any questions, please add them to the comments. Thanks for watching.